My dear students of YouTube channel देख रहे हो और मैं हूं इनामुल्ला खान. Today we are going to discuss imperative sentences. So I am continuing direct and indirect series, and that is the third sentences, which is called imperative sentences. So first of all, let me tell what is imperative sentences. Imperative sentences are those sentences in which there is command. Command, in which there is order, in which there is command, in which there is prohibition. Prohibition, that is forbade, in which there is request or there is suggestion. When there is suggestion, command, request, forbade, and order, such like sentences we will call imperative sentences. Such like sentences we will call an imperative sentences. For example, grammatical structure of imperative sentences. Grammatical structure, they will be started from verb. There will be no subject. And subject we will call understood subject. We will call understood subject. So subject will be understood. And though these sentences, they will be started from verb. So verb, that will be the head word of an imperative sentences plus an object. Plus an object. So verb plus object, and there will be full stop at the end of such like sentences. So be in mind, these sentences will be started from the verb. There will be an object after verb. At the end there will be full stop. Such like sentences we will call an imperative sentences. In all imperative sentences, subject will be understood, and this understood subject, that will be in the form of you, because there is command. In command we are giving order. For example, open the door. So open the door means you open the door, and we are taking the job, we are taking the function, we are getting the function of subject through the gesture. Through the gesture, you open the door means open the door. So this gesture, that give us or performs the function of subject. Thus the subject we will call in imperative as understood subject. So subject will be understood. These sentences will be started from verb. After verb there will be an object. For example, he said to me, open the door. There is direction. He directed. So the doctor said to you, take this medicine twice a day. So there is suggestion. Suggestion is here. The manager said to the peon, get out of my office at once. So the manager ordered the peon. So here is ordered. Command is here. The student said to the teacher, here is request. So please grant me leave today. So request is here. My mother said to him, so forbid is here, because don't, do not. So when there is negative mark, there will be prohibition, and prohibition we will call forbid. So do not pluck flowers from this garden. Such like sentences we will call an imperative sentence. How we will change an imperative sentence from direct into an indirect narration? So major changes. A. Major changes, first of all, the change within said. How we will change said within imperative sentences? According to the mood of reported speech. So we are taking attention towards the mood of an imperative sentences, especially mood of the reported speech. Mood of the reported speech. In which mood the reported speech is there, we will change said accordingly. For example, said will be changed into ordered, directed, suggested, forbade, or requested according to the mood of the reported speech. Mood of the reported speech. So this is first major change within imperative sentences, while we are changing an imperative sentence from direct into an indirect narration. So first of all, structure of imperative sentences, or we can say grammatical structure of an imperative sentences, and then how we will change an imperative sentences from direct into an indirect narration. So the second change is date will not be inserted here. So we will insert to in place of date. To preposition will place the function of conjunction as will relate, will correlate the two parts of sentences. But here too will not be preposition. That too will be an infinitive. That will be an infinitive. When there is to before the verb, base form will be used. Base form will be used here. Why base form will be used? Because verb will become an infinitive when there is to. When there is to before verb, that is called an infinitive. So infinitive is to plus base form of the verb. To plus base form of the verb. And infinitive contains two kind. One is called, what is an infinitive? जिसको उर्दू में आप मस्दर कहते हो, बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है इन्फिनेटिव. इसमें अक्सर एमसीक्यूज आ जाते हैं, डिटेक्ट इन्फिनेटिव और व्हाट इज इन्फिनेटिव. सो बी इन माइंड, इन्फिनेटिव इज when there is base form of the verb. One is called first form of the verb, another is called base form of the verb. There is a bit difference. First form of the verb, in which there is possibility of inflection, we can use inflection. So about verb inflection, we have SRES inflection, we have ING inflection, we have ED1 and we have ED2. So all these are inflection within verb. In present and definite, with the singular subject, we can use SRES. We can use SRES with the verb. Present and definite, singular subject. Verb will contain SRES inflection. In progressive form, we will use ING. Within past indefinite, we will use second form of the verb. And within perfective and passive, we will use third form of the verb. So all these are inflection. So we can use all these inflection with the first form of the verb. But we can't use any such like inflection with the base form of the verb. With the base form of the verb. And that is major difference between first form of the verb or verb in infinitive. Verb in and infinitive. This is major difference. वर्ब के जब वर्ब आ जाए तो उसके आप इन्फ्लेक्शन लगा सकते हो, जबकि इन्फिनेटिव के साथ आप इन्फ्लेक्शन नहीं लगा सकते. जहन में रखें. क्या लगाएंगे फिर? दो अकसाम है. इन्फिनेटिव कंटेन्स टू काइंड्स. इट कंटेन्स टू काइंड्स. वन इज कॉल्ड टू इन्फिनेटिव, another is called bare infinitive. So 2 plus base form of the verb is called to infinitive. 2 plus base form of the verb, that is called to infinitive. And another infinitive which we call bare infinitive. So what is bare infinitive? Bare infinitive modal auxiliary plus base form of the verb. When we have modal auxiliary, modal auxiliary, will, would, shall, should, can, could, may, might, used to, ought to, need not. All these are modal auxiliaries. When modal auxiliaries are used in a sentence, we will use only base form of the verb, and that is called bare infinitive. For example, we can use with to infinitive to go, to write, to pluck. When we are using to, we can't use any kind of inflection. And when we are using modal auxiliary, will work, can perform, so you will use only base form of the verb. You can't insert any kind of inflection when there is modal auxiliary before the verb. So when there is modal auxiliary, bare infinitive will be used. Bare infinitive base form with modal auxiliary. So when there is modal auxiliary, bare infinitive will be used. When there is to, base form will be used. So be in mind, these are two basic kinds of an infinitive. One is called to infinitive, another is called bare infinitive. Third thing is, When we are using word do not, for example, and when we are using please, such like words will be omitted. That will not be repeated while we are changing sentence from direct into an indirect narration. We will not use such like words again when we are changing sentence from direct into indirect narration. So request, please, etc., sir, madam, etc., and do not, etc., word like word, that will be omitted. So, for example, number one, he said to me, open the door. So, open the door, that is mood. So, mood is direction. He is giving, he is directing. So, we can change, he directed me to open the door. So, just see, he directed me, not directed to me. To will not be inserted here. To will not be inserted. He directed me to open the door. To in the form of infinitive. To plus base form of the verb. We are not placing any change within tense, although here is past and definite because to infinitive is here. You know, when we are changing tense, it means that we are changing the inflection of the verb. So when after to there we can't use any kind of inflection. So tense change will not be there in infinitive. ज़हन में रखें एक बहुत ही अहम पॉइंट कि infinitive के अंदर tense की तब्दीली नहीं होगी. क्यों नहीं होगी? Because verb is in the form of an infinitive. चूंकि वर्ब इन्फिनेटिव की सूरत में है और जब वर्ब इन्फिनेटिव होता है तो हम बेस फॉर्म के अलावा कोई और फॉर्म नहीं लगा सकते, लिहाजा टू प्लस बेस फॉर्म होगा. सो दैट विल बी इन्फिनेटिव एंड टेंस चेंजेस विल नॉट बी एप्लीकेबल अपॉन infinitive sentences. So without their tense changes, all other changes will be applicable. So the basic rules as well. So the second thing is, for example, second sentence, the doctor said to you, take this medicine twice a day. So doctor will always suggest, the doctor suggested me, or the doctor suggested to you. So to will be used after suggest. To will be used after suggest. To preposition. To here is preposition, but here to that is an infinitive. That is an infinitive. Here to is an infinitive, but here to is preposition. After suggest, to will be used. After directed, to will not be used. He directed me, but he said the doctor suggested to you. So the doctor suggested to you to take this medicine, that medicine. Other changes will be applicable. So this and to that. That medicine twice a day. The doctor suggested to you to take that medicine twice a day. So to take here infinitive. So tense change will not be applicable upon all imperative sentences. So the third sentence, the manager said to the peon, get out of my office at once. So there is a difference between the authority of manager and the peon. So manager will not request the peon, but manager will order. So the manager ordered the peons, not ordered to the peon, but ordered the peon. The manager ordered the peon to get out of my office. My first personal pronoun according to the subject of reporting speech. First personal pronoun according to the subject of reporting speech. So subject is manager and place of manager we can use pronoun is he. So his office, possessive, my possessive case is here. So possessive case of he is his. So the manager ordered the peon to get out of his office at once. So his will be used here. So change of pronoun is applicable. Only change within tenses will not be applicable. So the next sentence, the student said to the teacher, please. So when please is here, it means it is request. It is request. So the student requested the teacher. The student requested. The student requested the teacher to grant him to please grant me, please will be omitted because request is here. The student requested the teacher to grant me, first personal pronoun according to the subject. Subject here is student. So in place of student we can use objective case. So him. Because in place of student there will be he. So he objective case is him. So to grant him leave today into that day. So today will be changed into that day. The student requested the teacher to grant him leave that day. To grant him leave that day. So requested. Fifth sentence. My mother said to him. My mother said to him, do not. When there is negative sentence, here the said of the reporting speech will be changed into forbade. So my mother forbade him. My mother forbade him not to pluck when forbade is here. So repetition is prohibited within English grammar. There is no need of not then. So my mother forbade him to pluck. To pluck. My mother forbade him. Do not pluck flower. To pluck flower here into there. There. To pluck flower. There from that garden. There from that garden. From this garden, from that garden. So this into that, here into there. So within imperative sentences, the major change said into the mood of the reported speech, that is very important change. So be in mind that said will be changed according to the mood of the reported speech. So mood of the reported speech, that is very important. We can change said into ordered, directed, suggested, forbade, or requested, etc. Forbade or requested, etc. according to the mood of the reported speech. Mood of the reported speech. And the next major change is to infinitive. If you know about infinitive, there will be no problem for you to change sentence from direct into an indirect narration. So to infinitive, that is very important. So be in mind about infinitive and be in mind about other changes related to imperative sentences. If you have any question, so comment below and ask question below. Make practice on it and again and again. Repeatedly, you should watch this video again and again. And if there is any problem, you have any question, then comment below and ask question. So we will make practice then if you have any problem. So thank you so much.